Good morning, good day, and good evening to you, wherever it is that you might find yourself at this beautiful moment in time. Welcome to the Wednesday Wanderer, the show where we unravel the beauty of adventure and creativity one story at a time. This episode is brought to you by Anchor. We are also brought to you by Michael B. Isbell Media. At Michael B. Isbell Media, we specialize in online branding and massive campaign content creation for any company or brand to help boost your visibility online. Using the power of content writing, photography, podcasting, and videography to reach your community where they already spend their time and attention. As well as our direct branding and consultation services, we have helped thousands of brands across North America become more efficient and save time and understanding on their creative process by making easy to read and understand digital tools that will walk you through the steps to building out your brand in a massive way off the work you're likely already doing. Shop Michael B. Isbell features a broad variety of merch that you can pick up to show your support for any of the shows under MBIM's network, such as The Wednesday Wanderer, M&M's for Breakfast, or any of my own content with creative designs constantly being added in for purchase. Be sure to use the coupon code TWWSupport on shopmichaelbisbell.com to receive 20% off your entire purchase, whether that be digital or physical products. That's TWW Support on shopmichaelbisbell.com. A really exciting announcement I wanted to make for you guys in light of what is going on in the world. Because these episodes I am currently releasing are from the past, I am actually going to be ramping up the release cycle to catch up to the current interviews and will be releasing one new episode a day for the next 2.5 weeks, starting with this episode. If you're following these as they're uploaded, that means there'll be a new podcast guest this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then when we come back next week for the next 2 weeks, every Monday through Friday, there will be a new guest for you guys to listen to. I hope that everyone out there listening either is or was being cautious and practicing social distancing during this pandemic so that we can all get through this together and come out stronger and more connected on the other side. Molly Trotter is a news anchor turned problem solver, assisting brands and companies alike with creative and converting strategies specifically designed for people looking to scale their business to the next level. She utilizes transparency to show people themselves so they can break down what they need to do for their body, mindset, relationship, and so many other things so that they can grow in the directions that they want. Additionally, she does a training program for crypto and Forex trading platforms to allow people the ability to make upwards of 6 figures right from their phone. In this episode, Molly and I talk a lot about strategies and how to utilize an authentic content campaign to represent your brand in the best light to growth. We talk about network marketing and how it compares to branding and the standard job method that many have defaulted to, the mindset that goes behind the action of your brand, and so many other really awesome and educational topics. So without further ado, I give you Molly Trotter. All right, we are here with Molly Trotter today. What's going on, Molly? How are you?
I'm great. Looking forward to this and just sitting down with you and just talking about life.
Yeah, absolutely. So Molly has a ton of stuff going on. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself because, you look at Molly's Instagram, for example, and you see like social media branding, life coaching. She does crypto education, foreign exchange, something to do with foreign exchange, something like so much stuff. So go ahead and tell me a little bit, like give us your intro. Your spiel, yeah.
The spiel.
Who is Molly Trotter?
That's a deep question. Now, I know we only have so much time, so I got to go here to here. So basically, in a nutshell, is I actually went to school to be a news anchor and reporter, and I did that for 5 years. Got into that to be able to tell people stories and give them a voice. And when I found out corporate just had a different agenda, it just came down to money.
Right.
Like everything else, I was like, well, this really takes away a lot of what it is I want to do. And then the content that was being put out, I was like, this is boring and it has no value to it, in my opinion. So I'm like, I'm not going to have my legacy be left as like doom and gloom.
Right.
So I got out of there. Long story short, got out of there. Became an entrepreneur. So the spiel is I do basically consulting for short, but nutrition and fitness, custom plans, social media branding, helping people build their brand for their personal reasons, their business on social media, really utilizing that tool. When it comes down to that, the easiest way is I just show people how to be themselves and be transparent.
Right.
That's what they want to connect with a real person, not a robot, not I'm perfect all the time. So breaking that down for them, and then life coaching as well. So just really helping people they have these big goals, big plans. How do I navigate, through my business, my body, spirit, relationships, and just themselves and getting their mindset on track.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, I do crypto and Forex education. So basically I coach people through an education platform to teach them how to trade in those markets. So literally I coach people with 1 hour a day. They can make a 6-7 figure income from their phone. Through trading in these markets.
That's awesome.
And that's been super powerful. So literally, I just like to say, if you sum it all up, I'm in the problem solver business.
Yeah.
Like, you have a problem, I probably have a solution to help you solve it.
Yeah.
Let's work together. Let's do it.
That's really cool. I'm not gonna lie, like, so much connection with that, just off of the things that I have going on for myself as well. Like, having built the social media agency, creating a scalable solution for small businesses. So basically we figured out, I figured out through months of research and just looking up different programs and all that good stuff, how to scalably do social media for small businesses. So instead of it being this, $100 to $1,000 a month campaign that these, smaller companies, they can't afford that kind of stuff. They can barely afford like $100 to $200 a month. So basically we were able to figure out how to scale that solution out. So we literally have thousands of clients all over North America for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube, all with weekly content.
Nice.
So I 100% agree that transparency and just putting out content is definitely the way to go. The reason why I think that is the case personally is because when you look at the marketing industry as a whole, I've talked about this a lot on the podcast at this point. It's like companies like Coca-Cola, companies like all the big pharmaceutical companies. These companies are literally the reason why television exists still. Because right now, around 82% of the people that have previously been like subscribed to cable, watching all that stuff, and obviously who knows where that number comes from that they put out there, but like usually those that are pretty accurate whenever you're talking about digital spaces and subscriptions and that kind of stuff. But from what I've seen, around 82% of people have left watching TV basically. So they don't have direct TV, they don't have a cable package, they're not watching it, so they don't see the commercials. Those billions of dollars that these companies are spending, which is literally the only reason why the platform still exists. Whenever they realize that no one is watching that commercial and they're not getting anything out of that, all of that money is going to go somewhere else. And, I very firmly believe that it's going to go into social media. And whenever that happens, people that aren't already at millions of followers and like already have their, brand across every single platform, good luck.
I totally agree.
It's not going to happen at that point because it's all about like the buildup, and having a repertoire, a portfolio of work to look back at. Like, for example, for yourself, whenever I looked at your Instagram and I looked at your YouTube, like I was really impressed. Like, even though you said that some of your older stuff, from a different project stuff, it was cool to look and see this past portfolio of work, like to see you actually like going out there and doing stuff and like helping other people. And I think some of the videos you had even like recorded your sessions helping like groups of people, right? Like where it was like a FaceTime video, I want to say, where like you had like this group of people, like it was. I think it was on your YouTube channel. I mean,
there's so
maybe
much
somebody
stuff up
recorded
on there,
it
so
of you. I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, if you go on YouTube, like whether it's my channel, if you just type in my name, you'll see different videos of different stories I've done.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from like helping veterans to eating bugs on TV to jumping in freezing cold pools to lots of eating. So they always put me on the morning show, and you gotta have that fun stuff, right? And so I just stuffed my face with eating, and I was like, well, why not?
That sounds
have
awesome.
a burger at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's only 6. And it's so full. But yeah, lots of stuff out there. But I couldn't agree more when you're saying that nobody's watching anymore. And to me, when I got on, I was like, I'm literally leaving a legacy, and people are like, I don't even watch TV anymore. It's depressing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, exactly, because we chased the 10-car pileups. We chased the people that got burned in a house fire. We chased the death and destruction and, you know, the hatred and the violence and the crime. And it's like, nobody wants to watch that, you know? Like, the stuff that we really need is like, okay, what's some political stuff that we actually need to know?
Yeah.
And weather events, so we know how to get out of harm's way. Other than that, I mean, there's a few other things, but it's really, it wasn't important enough for me to stick around, let's put it that way.
Right.
But now it's like the shift that I've made. It's like I'm actually solving people's problems, and in the last 5 months, I've been able to help hundreds of people just in the Forex and crypto space alone. Yeah. And really build that bond so they can find somebody that they can trust and then, you know, grow from there. Yeah. It's like, it's crazy to me.
I think that trust is the biggest part. Like, I think that what you were talking about, it's the agenda. That's the problem. Like, the reason people don't watch TV anymore is because everyone knows it's fake. Even the stuff that's quote unquote real or like quote unquote a sit down conversation. Like with this podcast itself, like if you're watching the video version of this or you're listening on any platform where podcasts are currently available with the Wednesday Wanderer, this isn't scripted. Like, you know, like we have an idea off of a 15-minute phone call of
right.
like kind of
what you've seen on my page. You
know? It's like I kind of have an idea of who you are and like what you have going on, but like it's just not authentic, that platform of like, I mean, it has its place for someone to go and do their research and have this like scripted content. It totally has its place. But whenever that's everything and that's all you see and that's all that gets pushed out there because no one wants to really actually attack the issues and attack the story of what's going on, that's where I think the problem is. Everyone has this agenda. They have their thing they want to push, whereas it's ultimately the only thing you should want to push is helping other people and making life better for all of us.
Well, it comes down to a money thing, and it comes down to a lot of journalists want the resources, but corporate won't give it to them because they'll give it to other places. Like it comes down to, like for myself, I was my own, you know, I shot my own video, I wrote my own stuff, I did everything. Like there's no photographers hardly anymore. Right. Maybe when you're in LA, Chicago, New York, that kind of a thing, but not in the smaller stations as you're getting up to them. And then it's at the point of what are you willing to sacrifice to go up, which I'm sure we'll go over later. But there was a lot of sacrificing that I didn't want to sacrifice. Like, you know, I'm not married with kids at this moment or anything like that, but I do want a future family. Yeah. And that was going to be my biggest sacrifice if I was going to end up going down the road that I was going to be at, like a main anchor on a main station. And I'm like, I'm not sacrificing raising my kids for this garbage money. Like the money is horrible. The hours are horrible. It was just awful. And I was like, nah. Yeah. Like not doing it.
That's actually the reason why I built my social media agency. So it's funny that you say that, like, cause that was one of your driving factors. Cause I mean, I'm only 22 years old, but when I was growing up, just a little bit of background on me. As if you've been listening to the podcast at this point, you already know like about my whole childhood and this whole process of me getting to this point. But basically, I, for different circumstances, raised both of my brothers, taught them most of what they know on, like, you know, the right and wrong scale. Like, for my little baby brother, David, a lot more so about, you know, like, learning how to read and write and, like, walk and talk and, like, really, like, raising him, you know? So, having that experience as a kid and seeing how, like, my dad was never there, and whenever my mom went to her depression, like, she was never there, like, physical presence for a kid is everything. And like it doesn't matter what your intentions are, like what you meant to happen or like what you were trying to achieve. It all breaks down to if you were there and if you weren't, you know. Right. And if you were there, were you a dickhead and like causing fear, or like bringing love and positivity? Like that's really all it breaks down to, is were you there, were you not, were you nice, or were you mean? Like, as a kid, that's really how simple it is, you know? And growing up in that environment, I really felt strongly, especially like when I got with Mary Alita and like we really started getting serious and stuff, was that if I'm going to have kids in this world, like I refuse to have kids where I'm literally showing them every single day with how I spend my life that I care more about a job than I care more about them. Because for 8 hours a day, every single day, like in the best part of the day too, it's not like the late, like super dark outside. You can't really walk outside and do stuff with the kids and stuff like that. Like, is that really the only time of the day that I'm willing to allocate towards the people that I love more than anything? And like, because when you show with your actions, it doesn't really look like you love the kids that much. It looks
and
like
they don't know what that means. Oh, daddy has to go to work or mommy has to go to work. It's like, that's all they're ever going to know. And then that is going to ripple onto them. That's going to ripple onto their kids. And then it's an endless cycle that's never broken.
Exactly.
Until somebody wants to break it.
Exactly. So my thing is making sure that if I have kids, I want to be able to be there every single day of their lives. Like, obviously, if they want to go off and do their own thing and, like, you know, go on trips or whatever, like, I'm not going to stop them from doing that whenever it's age appropriate and stuff like that, obviously. So I don't mean necessarily they have to physically be right next to me at every single moment. But at every single moment for their entire lives, as much as I can help it, I will be available to them.
Absolutely.
That's the point. And whenever, if I have to tell them Monday through Friday, this time to this time, don't call me, don't text me, don't reach out to me, I can't do anything for you, like...
Sounds horrible.
I just disappear and, like, you don't get to see me. I'm in magic land, and that's, you know... you just have to accept that and live with that. Like, no, that sucks.
Because that's how they view it, even though it's not how it is. But when you say it out loud, it sounds terrible.
That's what it breaks down to. You know, it's like you literally just make the decision to say that the pursuit of money is more important to you than your family ultimately. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, you have to get a job, and like, if you have a family, I'm not saying like stop working and like go into poverty with your family or whatever, but you have to find a balance to like where you actually interact and have a life with your kids. And that's what I think that is so important about what you're doing, which is working on getting everyone out there to share their message, because I think that a lot of people feel like their story isn't important enough to get out there, or they feel suppressed in certain ways. Like, I definitely want to break into later about how you're actually a woman doing all of this stuff, which is awesome to me, because like actually putting together this podcast, it blows my mind how few women there are in this space. Like, just in general, like in leadership positions, like you have creative women that are making things happen and doing things, but it's always for somebody else. Like every single one that I've met, and I don't understand why. It's like, I mean, I kind of understand why, because it's obviously the obstacles and everything like that you have to deal with, but like, dang, it just blows my mind. Like,
yeah, no, I've met a ton of women, or been around a ton of women that are in that space that have mentored me without even talking to me. You know, just following them on social media. A lot of women in network marketing. Network marketing, unfortunately, gets such a bad rap, but people just don't know what they don't know, and it's a really powerful, beautiful industry. Yeah. So that being said, you know, they are out there, but I mean, I hate to say it, few and far between, because there are those obstacles. And when you said that, like, something inside me is just like, oh, I hate hearing that, but it's true. You know, especially, I mean, I see it every day in what I do, just in the Forex and crypto space. It's a man-driven world, and the way men treat me, the way men reach out to me, the way men feel that it's okay to talk to me, in order for us to, you know, be in business together. Yeah. It's egregious. Yeah. I can't even begin to describe to you. And I've actually put on trainings to help women, you know, get over that hump and be like, don't let these men's opinions, don't let their opinions like dictate your paycheck. Yeah. But women can only be so strong unless they choose to go through that personal development and choose to push through those hard times. Right. And there's been some things up into my life at this point that have allowed me to break through those barriers to be in the position I am. And that's why I'm able to do what I can do. That was my choice. Nobody was like, okay, you're going to be born with this. You know, I had that inside me. I just had to, you know, do some gardening and then let it sprout, right? So, especially lots of watering. So, anyways.
No, that's really cool. I like how the analogy there, like, you have to take care of the garden of what's there and nurture that.
I mean, everybody has their own garden. Everybody can choose to water it, can choose to let it dry out, choose to nurture it, whatever. You know, you can't have a garden and expect it to do its own thing. Yeah. Sure, if you have the right soil and the right mix of things, it's going to happen. And you have that for your life. But if you want to let, you know, the outside weather events, the circumstances come in and dictate that if you're going to survive or not, that's on you. You know, I'm a survivor. I've had plenty of situations in my life up to this point where they could have stopped me, but I'm like, nope. Yeah. You know, even, you know, just like times where there's no support, times where there's no money, times where there's, you know, I know there was always hope in my mind, and it's like maybe I didn't see it very clearly at the moment, but I knew it was there, and you just have to push through, because when you push through, the only way out is through. I tell my clients that all the time. It's like, you can make all these excuses, but if you want to get out of something, you got to walk right through it, and whatever comes up, whatever you got to deal with it, you know? Like, I tell there's either wins or there's, W's or L's, right? Wins or lessons. It's never a loss. It's always a lesson.
Yeah,
so like, don't.
I like that.
I mean, people are just. It's a mindset thing.
Yeah, 100% agree. So like one of the things that I feel like from my own experiences, like reaching out to different people, like for example with the podcast, my own video projects, like social media marketing in general, I think one of the stigmas that probably limits both sides actually, because it limits like people like myself who's trying to highlight different perspectives. So like I said, like just trying to find women to be on the show that do this kind of stuff or doing their own thing in general, just making something and passionate about what they're doing. I think a lot of that, other than like, I'm curious to hear what, you dive into like more of like the obstacles of what you were talking about specifically. But from my perspective, I think that one of the biggest issues is actually this whole stigma from the guy's end actually. So like, it's weird. It's weird to say that, but like, I'll get there to what I'm talking about.
I'm curious.
Yeah. So there's like this stigma of like what a female expects to get from a dude, like what you were just like talking about. Like when you look at your messages, if you got like 9,000 DMs, you're probably assuming that like 8,000 of those at least are something obscene or some kind of like throwaway like they're probably just trying to like slide in the DMs kind of conversation, right? Here's the problem though. The 1,000 that are there that are genuine and they're actually trying to do something get brushed under the rug with the rest of that. And there's countless, who knows how many, that never send a message because they look at a girl's profile and they're like, oh, she's pretty. She probably gets blown up with stuff. She's never even going to respond to me, and just moves on and like says, okay, well, maybe they're probably not going to be able to do it because of, they assume they understand, they're empathetic, because a lot of times creators, it doesn't matter if you're a dude or a girl, like you're empathetic, you have that connection to the universe. Like that's the way you look at the world. I know for me personally, like I definitely have that issue where it's like you see someone like, and it's like, oh, I really want to message that person, but like, I don't know how to send this message where they understand it's like, yo, chillin'. I'm just trying to like, see if you want to, see if you want to work together, have to be on the podcast, have this conversation. But it's like, there's no, like, as a guy, there's no easy way to start that because of the fact that so many people have, like...
ruined it.
Yeah, it's like salted the earth ahead of me, that it's, like, really, really hard to reach out and start those connections. So it's like, I feel like if there are guys that have the shows, they can't give the up-and-coming females, like, those positions to grow and get into the industry, because there's like this whole double-sided thing, it's like they can't accept because they don't know what they're going to get. They can't reach out because they're like, oh, I don't know, should I or shouldn't I? So like, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that whole mindset.
That's actually something we've gone over on our team several different times, as far as, when we reach out and message people, talk to people. Yeah, I mean, even I get it. I mean, I get so many obscene messages on a day-to-day basis. I mean, everything from... and I don't know what kind of a podcast this is in the sense of like PG or, PG-13. I mean, guys that said they will sleep with me for business, guys that say that they just want to marry me, guys that say, I want you to be my girlfriend, guys that say, things about my looks and this and that, da-da-da. I fantasize you, I dream about you, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't even know these people. And it's just like one of those things where I'm just like, dude, seriously? Yeah. Like, piss off.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Like, go away. And that to me, I just roll my eyes. I'm like, whatever. But a lot of women just don't like it and they just give up altogether, So from a guy's perspective, to help you guys out there, I've helped women a lot being able to just push through. And my favorite lines, I'm here to get you paid, not play house.
Right.
And guys get very like somewhat like, they're not even somewhat, they're offended because they're like, excuse me, you're going to show me how to get paid? Yeah, if you're open, like, are you, or are you too good for that? You know, because you're good enough to slide in my DMs and tell me that, hey, I want to sleep with you for business. But you're not good enough to make money and me show you how. That's funny. Yeah. Next. Like literally bless the next. Yeah. So for guys, what I coach guys on my team, I say, hey, you know what? I know it's hard. I know guys get dirty messages too from, quote unquote thirsty women. So how do they deal with that? How do they message and chat with women, whatever? throw a woman into your pitch. Throw a woman into the, how you want to get into business with somebody, being like, hey, me and my business partner, Jane, would love to be able to sit down with you and chat with you. Hey, me and my business partner, Sally, would love to be able to show you how we can ... Throw a woman's name in there, something. Make it somewhat credible, so maybe they meet this person, or you can be like, me and my business partner, Jane, here's our Instagram. Give them somebody to look at, put a woman's name in there. Her guard's going to come down.
Right.
It's going to come down, maybe not all the way, but it's going to come down a lot. So
it's so sad that has to happen.
It does. And I'm telling you, I'm thinking from the perspective, if somebody did that to me, okay, maybe I'm listening. Maybe. I'm so busy and I get pitched with ideas and opportunities left and right. And I'm like, I thank you, but, my plate's really full right now.
Right.
But at the end of the day, for men, put a woman's name in there. Fine. If you don't have a female business partner, find her. Find one. Do something, because that is going to help you big time. Because other than that, if it's just a bunch of guys, wanting to help a girl, she doesn't know. And unfortunately, a lot of men have salted the earth, like you said. And it's sad. But it's just reality. Like, it's always like, like when I'm not going to lie, like when you and I connected, I was like, okay, this sounds great. Was there a catch?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I'm a woman that I know I can take care of myself if something were to go wrong. So I'm like, hopefully nothing goes wrong here. And I had a really good feeling with you. That's why I was like, this is fine. And we talked, that's cool. Yeah. But same platform that we met on, a lot of guys, it's only meant for business for me, and they still like, can I take you out on a date? Can we go out to dinner?
Yeah.
No, period.
I'm glad I'm a dude, because that's something I was worried about using Bumble Business, because I have a fiance. Like, I'm not like interested in that at all.
My business partner told me to get Bumble Business to connect, and I'm like, no. He's like, why? And I was like, because long story short, I had an ex-boyfriend a long time ago. He's like, I just want to make you a Tinder just because. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, I just want to see what it's like. He literally shut it down in 10 hours because of how many messages he got. Yeah. What people were saying. And then they all started blowing me up on Facebook, and I was like, I told you, And so I'm like, I don't want to get Bumble. But then I saw the different, Bumble BFF, dating business. And it has been a gem. Yeah. So if you are not networking on Bumble Business, you need to be. Because
especially as a woman, because it gives the power to women. Yeah. So like, one of the interesting things I'm glad that we got into this actually, because I talk a lot about Shaper, which is the other networking app that I use, which is similar to Tinder, but it's just for networking. That's it. It's just, you should check it out. Shaper, SHAPR.
We'll talk about that after, because I'm definitely down.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. I like it a lot. I've scheduled a lot of the interviews using Shaper, to be honest. Like, it's really nice. It's more of a professional, like, stiffer, that kind of a platform. Okay.
Awesome.
But with Bumble, one of the things I really actually respect about them, both like I could understand it being a benefit in the dating aspect and the friend aspect, and how it is in my own uses with the business aspect, is that the woman has to interact first. So it is a little, like, I will admit, it is a little bit harder to get, like, to do that, because you have to wait for someone else to like send the message, and then you have to like respond, be courteous to what it is they're saying, and actually like listen and be attentive to what it is they're saying. But then also, like, for example, like with me, I'm there to get people on the show, so it's like I'm like immediately want to get into like, oh yeah, well, here's this opportunity thing, like this is what I'm trying to do, like, here you go, here's the website, here's the information, check it out if you're interested in like looking at it or whatever. So I will say that it is a little bit hard as a dude, but like, it is what it is. Right. Like, who cares?
And one thing, I mean, this is me personally, is I get pitched left and right, and obviously there's something about you that got me here. I mean, good for you. Props, because I get pitched all day long. And people won't even have an opener like, how are you? It's just like verbal vomit in your face. Here's my opportunity. And I've literally told people, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm actually not interested, but next time you want to approach somebody, my personal take is get to know them first before you send the pitch. And, people are like, well, and they give me their justification. And I'm like, do what you want. If this is working for you, great. But there's a reason why you messaged me. Either I'm just another name on your list. You saw my following. I don't know. But at the end of the day, that doesn't do it for me. If you want quality people, get to know them first. That's what I teach my team all the time. Get to know them, solve their problem. Don't just have them be another number. They can feel that.
Absolutely.
They're not they want to know how much you care before they care about what you're doing. Yeah. So, it's just the pitch is, I know you want to get straight to the point.
Right.
And trust me, it's like I do too. Sometimes I'm like, okay, hurry up. Like, how you doing? Right. I have my like checklist that I go through my head, but I also know it's very important, and it's got to me to where I am right now.
Yeah.
And then I'm genuinely making that connection with them because I genuinely care about people. That's why I got out of television. If I really did not care about people, I probably would have stayed and just been, pay me to be a face on TV and like whatever. But it's like, I want that interaction. I want those whys. I want that like meaty, like, how can I actually change your life here rather than just brush it over and just be like, get me paid. Yeah. That's why, there's so many people like that out there. And I don't want to be another one.
Right.
So I get it. Get straight to the point and get her done. But then you got to find that fine line.
Yeah, there definitely is a fine line. Because, like, I think there's a lot that goes into the personality of the person. You know, like, for me specifically, I actually have messages that I created. Like, I have a short version for apps like Bumble that have, like, a character, they have the character limit. Then I have like a long version that actually like really breaks down like what I have going on, like exactly what the show is, kind of a thing. And I use that for Shaper. For me personally, I actually like to jump right into it like right off the bat, just because like the message I created is equal, like it is like friendly, So it's like it starts off like something like, "Hey there, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day," or whatever. It's like, and then it basically just jumps right into the whole like, "Yo, I was scrolling through looking for people on my podcast. I like what you're doing. Like, here's where you can check out more information." But then, like, if someone responds and they, like, continue the conversation and keep that back and forth banter going on, like, I'll just do it. Like, I'll just respond. Like, I always get back within 24 hours. Like, I think immediately, like, you started responding. You just, like, we're just chatting for a while. Yeah. And then after chatting for a while, I was like, yeah, so the link up there, if you want to set up a phone call, like, we could get that set up and get good to go. Like, it's a very fine balance, but like I think it's definitely possible to make it more efficient, and not have to go through that whole messaging process back and forth, especially if you're trying to scale something like really huge, like right now in this season of whatever it is that you're doing. It is definitely possible, but you have to find that balance of what value are you giving to that person. So like, why does that person care whenever they see that message?
Exactly.
It's like, for me, like with the podcast, my biggest thing is it's like, I have these guests already lined up that I've met in real life, like that I've met at like Vid Summit, for example, and like the connections that I meet from the people that are on the show. And like, I travel all the time. I've been doing music my whole life. So it's like, I've got all these guests to already be on the show. But then when I reach out on these apps and stuff, it's really cool to me to be able to give that like exposure, that because obviously the show's still in its infancy as far as the release cycles go, but by the time you're seeing this episode, it's well on its way. Yeah, it's like,
dang it, you mean I have to wait? Gosh.
Season 1 is like almost done by now. Actually, I think this will be
the bow on top.
Yeah, honestly, this might be like the last episode of season 1. I don't think it's the last episode of season 1. I'm pretty sure we're not there yet, but it's close.
We'll get there.
It's close. It's like 9 out of 13 or something like that. Nice. So it's like, it's pretty far along, and I don't know. It's been really nice to have those connections, but I think that there's a lot to be said to adding value to the other person in what it is that you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's hands down everything that I poured into is its value. And go to social media, for example. I was it maybe like 2 to 3 years ago, I really started pumping into it. Probably maybe even 4, but I had to for the news, right? Then I saw how like easy it was. Then I had some friends that did social media, like managing for stations, and showed me a few things, and I'm like, gosh, like, is it really that easy? One viral video and you're good. Yeah. And of course I haven't had any viral videos yet.
Right.
But we'll find it.
It's just consistency.
If you look at my posts, hands down, I have people ask me, why do you post that kind of stuff? You can get paid for that. And I'm like, at the end of the day, like, sure, like money will come. And honestly, I'll get photo shoots done. I will do my personal development, and that's where like my captions and my, value is dropped is from that. It just doesn't come out of thin air.
Yeah.
And so those photo shoots, for example, cost me money, but at the end of the day, I'm giving people value, showing people that there's much more to me than just like, hey, I want your money.
Yeah.
Because that's not it. It's like, this is how I can enhance your life. I'm giving it to you for free.
Yeah.
If you want the extended version, or like if you want like detailed, customized for your life, which everything I do is customized for people, then we can take it the step further.
Right.
If you don't, then that's fine. So it's being transparent enough to have people show you and see the real you, because I can sit there and put up like, any kind of like quotes at the end of the day, like, and that's great, but what they really want is like, I'm always so positive and upbeat, but the minute I put something up there that's not so upbeat but really real, like I remember there's a Facebook Live that I did, I don't know, I think like a year and some change ago. And I had like a really hard day. I think I admitted that I looked like hell. I cried, I think like maybe like 6 times that day. And I told them, and I was struggling. It was hard. Broke, just moved to California, like just trying to build the dream.
Yeah.
And people, like, it had like 2,000 views like that.
I don't doubt it, yeah.
Because like people are like, oh my gosh, peel back the onion. Wow, she's like me and has hard days. And I'm like, yes. It's hard to be that open and vulnerable, but it's just because it's fear of judgment, fear of what other people are going to say about you. But guess what? Like, people connect more to that than the positive stuff day in and day out.
Yeah.
So I always forget, because I get on this like positive like roll train, and then I'm like, okay, back it up. Before you had all these great days, and there are some days in there where things are just hard, and like the days just, and it's like, I just want to sit here and nap and not do anything. Like, I'm tired. Like, don't call me, don't talk to me. Like, I'm human, right? So when I put that out there, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you. But,
I think that going back to the limiters, like the reasons why people don't do things is they feel like they have to be this, for lack of a better term, superficial version of themselves. Like so
that's all they see.
Yeah, it's like they see like positivity, upbeat, and then they look at themselves and they think, well, crap, I don't think like that. Like, I'm very negative. I'm very dark. Like, I'm very in this opposite position. And then whenever they hear, like, you have to be positive to have success, they don't understand that the positivity is a daily, like, what you're putting into yourself kind of a thing.
Right.
It's
like your personal development.
You put out what you put in. So, like, every day, if, you're going through and you're just complaining and you're listening to complaints and your friends are telling you how much they hate their jobs, and you go home and you talk about how much you wish you were home and how much you don't want to go back to work. Like, you don't think that those little things have that much weight, but over the course of time, those complaints add up to a lot. It's all negativity, and negativity will bring you down hard. Like, it is bad. Like, you've got to fight it. And
when you're saying, like, your friends are saying this and that, you may or may not have heard the phrase, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around most of the time. So if they're just talking trash, partying, drinking, they really have no real goals, and they just are doing the same thing day in, day out, living for the weekend, hating Monday, loving Friday. It's like, if you want to be in that endless cycle, then sure, stay there. But if you want to surround yourself with better people, maybe you're like, well, I don't have people. Go on social media and go follow some influencers. Go find them. If you don't know, ask around. Go YouTube it. Yeah. Those people can pour into you whether you think it or not. Like, even though they're not physically here, those words are still going to empower you. Yeah. I totally get it. It's sad, and it happens. I mean, I'm 28 years old, and it's still people my age. All they want to do is go out, drink, smoke, party on the weekend. And I much rather I think this past weekend, went to the beach. Yeah. Sat and did personal development. I journaled. I just poured into myself, and I had some quiet time, and I kind of like shut everything else out. And I much rather do that, because I know that's going to set me up to have a really good week. Rather than just go get hammered, and feel like garbage, and then be out for the next couple of days feeling like this nasty hangover. Right. So it's like, choose your heart. Do you want to grind now and kind of coast a little bit later? Or do you want to have the party fun now? And then by the time you're 40, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm up to my eyeballs in debt. Yeah. My, wife or husband is always nagging at me. Like, I can never get a break. My kids, or you want to be like, dude, we're chilling. And we're going on another family vacation, the 3rd one this year. My kids they have a tutor because we can travel. Like, you can have that kind of a lifestyle. You just have to think beyond your circumstances. Absolutely. It's priorities too. Because if you are that 40-year-old person, you have a job, and like that's your life, and you're happy with that, and like you feel fulfilled. Like you don't come home and take out your aggression on your kids because you hate your life, but you come home and you're happy, and you're like, hey kids, what's up? I had a great day at work. Like, yay, things are great. Things are awesome. And like, you get to come home and like, you live for that, for that thing that you've built for yourself. That is amazing. You've done it. Like,
I very firmly, and I want to get back to what you were talking about too. But I just wanted to say for a second, like for those of you that are at that point in your life, if you're happy with where you are, that's fine. Like I just want to clarify. I don't think she's saying this either. I know I'm definitely not saying like if you have a job and that is like the life that makes you feel the best, then that's where you need to be, because not everybody's going to get the peak success. Not everybody's going to get the, going on a vacation every couple of months. But if that's what you aspire for and that's your dream, that's the life you want for your kids, that you want them to experience the world, then absolutely you should be doing that and doing whatever you can to make that happen. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify. If you're happy with where you're at, more power to you, dude. You do it. You do something I cannot do. I cannot go to work, sit in an office and be happy, but I have to have someone who can to run the team. Without Amaya being there and her being able to run that production team and step into the leadership and management role, I would not be able to do what I do. I wouldn't have been able to step away. I would physically be forced to show up to this office 5 days a week, every single day. Mm-hmm. And I would be clawing my eyeballs out, not able to travel and not able to do the things I do. So it's like, yeah, if you love doing what you do, thank you. Like, you make it possible for other people to be able to travel and do those things that they want to do. Yeah,
exactly. And nobody has the vision that you have for your own life. So you live it to the authentic person that you are. So yeah, by no means am I saying, do exactly what I do. Mm-hmm. If you like what I do, if you like what you do, if you like what somebody else does and you want that, go ask them, go figure out how they got it and then make it happen. Yeah. You don't have to sit in that same mundane, go to college, get a job, sit there, 9 to 5, and then come home, blah, 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 and repeat. Yeah. You can have a different thing all the time. Hence my smorgasbord of the list that I have of so many different things. And people are like, well, what's your one thing? And I'm like, honestly, I love all of them. And I love the fact that I can actually pick and choose the clients that I want. Mm-hmm. What I have most of my time into right now is the Forex and crypto space, because there's so much momentum behind it. And anybody listening to this, and you and I, obviously, we're smart people. Yeah. There's momentum, you go with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You roll with it, but
that's
I can
the
still
whole
pick and
basis
choose.
of Facebook ads.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
People don't understand that either. If people, think Facebook ads are, this crazy monster beast that they can't touch, literally, it's just a matter of, throw $2, $3 into a couple things. Literally set yourself a $5 budget for a word in an industry of people. Let's say fitness for 20-something-year-olds that are on Instagram. That's young people that are looking at other beautiful people, probably wanting to improve their physical bodies. Mm-hmm. That's pretty specific.
Yeah.
Right? So you can set an ad for that, set another ad that is for moms on Pinterest that are between the ages of 20 and 30 that have kids based on whatever it is that they're looking for. Mm-hmm. And you can make these fitness ads. It's talking about working out and having a nutrition plan and doing that stuff like you do, and target these different people on different platforms in different ways entirely. And what you do is you just set $5 here, $5 there, $5 here, $5 there. And then a second that it starts to go up, you put more money into it. And the second it starts to dip, you stop it and you take the money and you put it into something else that is currently on the incline. That's it. There's no magic string, there's no magic button, there's no weird strategy philosophy. Make every single piece of content good so that it's organically, it doesn't matter if this is the one thing that someone reads, then it authentically represents who you are, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And you just literally boost what works.
Right.
That's it.
And if you don't know how, ask somebody. It's I use Facebook ads all the time, and I'm about to put some other out. Yeah, some more out, because it's why not? It's all there, and you can target it. And even Instagram ads are great too. Same thing. So I hear you. Just people don't know what they don't know, and they can pay us to show them. That's fine.
That's very true. But in the underpriced market right now, if you're not on social media taking advantage of those ads, you're going to be in a really big world of hurt whenever companies like Coca-Cola, like I was saying earlier, as soon as they stop putting their money into the commercials and nobody's watching, and they put it on Facebook ads, that $8 ad that might get you a guaranteed return every single time, it's it's going to go up to being $80 and maybe you get someone that sends you a message.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like, on if it's good enough, it's attractive, it's what they want. I mean, there's so many different factors out there. Not to have it scare you, just be aware.
Yeah. So I'm curious, with everything that you do, what are your thoughts on diversifying your assets as far as having multiple platforms? Because I noticed that you had your YouTube, you have your Instagram, but I didn't really see you on like a ton of different platforms. So I'm curious, like, what your thoughts are on that. I kind of look at it like a stock exchange, whereas you should be native on every single platform out there, because I mean, just this weekend, like a couple of days ago, YouTube crashed. It went down.
Oh, really?
And if that's your only platform you existed on,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble. Like, what would have happened if it came back up and every video was gone?
I haven't poured a lot into YouTube, just speaking on that. I mean, I've put some stuff up there. I know it can be with what it is that I have, what it is I've gone through, like the checklist in my head for the next 6 months to a year on what it is that I'm going to do, expanding wise for my business, myself and everything. It's going to be insane. But I'm on, YouTube, still dabbling, not fully into that. Instagram and Facebook are my main ones. I don't mess with Twitter. What I do, Twitter doesn't really matter, in my opinion. I mean, I do Twitter a lot, like, for news, because it's like quick little burps, send it out. And that's fine. I don't care about it. Snapchat, I'll be honest with you, it's a waste of time. Like, it really is. And I'll put some stuff up on Snapchat, but, like, really I just get on there to waste my time with filters. And I'm like, this is annoying. I don't watch TV. Why am I going to waste my time with filters? Like, it doesn't, even though people are on there, it's like, even though if I don't like it, other people do. There's a ton of people on there. So I got to get over that and just post stuff. But I'm really heavy on Facebook and Instagram. You'll see a lot of the same content up there, and definitely have a good following on both. YouTube, that's the next one I really want to pour into and grow. And then outside of that, really not much else. There's so many other platforms, but it's like, I do it all myself. Like, I respond to all the messages. I don't have an assistant. I do it all myself. Like, I mean, and I get a ton, but I want that personalization. So, I just had to be really picky on what it is I pour into, because right now it's just me, but it will get to a point where I'll have help possibly, with doing other things, so I can still have handle on social media. Because I want people to know that I am answering and that I am, it is me. It's not my bot, or it's not somebody that's paid. Yeah,
take this with a grain of salt, obviously, because it's your campaign. But I would actually highly recommend, go by the strategy of work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
With social media, it sounds like you need to do some research on automation apps.
I've done that. I'm more of the type, and I've seen those automations. I've seen where you can, like, schedule posts out and things like that. I'm very much like, in the moment, what I want to post, I'm going to do it.
Right.
I'm not going to sit there and schedule it out at this point. Because if I find it, like it, I'm just like spur of the moment, authentic to me, boom, it's out there.
But you can do that as well. So, like, for example, what I've done is I actually created this whole process using a couple of programs. You use Google Docs or CSV or like whatever you use that can open a comma separated value form. And basically using a program like I use Sendable, which is a posting platform that's way better than Hootsuite in my opinion. They have way better customer support, and you can just do more with it in general. They like the reporting metrics, and you can attach pictures to the actual CSV itself. So what I do is I actually built a program where basically you post twice a day, every day for 365 days a year. And what essentially it is it's a base coat. It's what allows people like Gary Vaynerchuk to be able to post 5 to 9 times a day on every single platform. It's because you build out these strategies, and then you can still on the day of just post another time because it's actually good to post multiple times a day.
Oh yeah.
So what I did is I created one for 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. So 8 a.m. is for quotes. And so basically it's got 365 boxes. You pick 365 quotes. The next tab, you put in your interpretation of those 365 quotes, right? So like if it's like Thomas Edison said, "Let there be light," and you're like, the reason why you need to let there be light in your world or whatever, blah, 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 And then it pops out this thing at the end where it's like the quote, what you have to say about it, and the hashtags that you chose. So like it formats it all at the end with the program with the CSVs that I created. And then it does the same thing for 11 a.m. You have 365 quick facts about you and your business. So like whatever it is that you do, you know, it could be, did you know that with Adobe Audition, you can plug up a USB microphone and directly channel all the audio settings specifically through that external microphone? Like a little fact or something like that. Basically like a sentence is something that you want it to be able to, if they don't click view more, that they can still get something out of it, basically. That's like the mindset that you want that small part to be in. And then again, 365 boxes that line up with the facts where you can extend on that and like give yourself like 2, 3, you know, a couple more sentences where you actually dive into whatever it is that you just quickly gave a fact about, right? And at the end of the day, what that does is that's information that's not going to change. It's actually relevant to your brand and it's consistent, right? So you can do a couple of things with that. Hey, first off, you upload it to Instagram. That's like the big one. And you can use something like IFTTT, which is called if this, then that. And you can actually share, if a post goes to Instagram, natively upload that content to blank. So like, for example, let's say you don't use Tumblr. So you say, if I upload a new Instagram photo, download that photo, copy the text, and make a new Tumblr post with that photo, with that text. And then literally the exact same content you uploaded to Instagram will upload to Tumblr, like at the same time, without you looking at it or doing anything. And so I actually am blowing up on Tumblr just because of that, like the consistency of sharing my Instagram posts. And I'm seeing like all of these followers coming through on Tumblr recently that it's like, whoa, I didn't even know people still use this app. Yeah. But like, I'm consistently there. So the people that do, like, even though it's a small percentage, that's a very loyal small percentage. Right. So if you're one of the, you have to think on these smaller apps, you could possibly want to be one of the only, if not the only, consistent stream of content that they're seeing. Like when I go on LinkedIn, all I see is Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, I know. LinkedIn, like,
because he's posting all
beneficial,
the time.
But like it's one of those things where probably I love Instagram, I love Facebook, and that's what I pour into. Probably using something like that for the other apps just to get my consistency out there.
Exactly, yeah.
Would be good.
That's what I do.
I mean, I'm open, so let's talk about that. Let's like write that down after.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I mean, it's getting to the point now where I'm getting so busy that it's like it's starting to cut in, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't put that up, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I have my schedule of like I do like usually a post in the morning, at night, or one at least, and let that grow. Because I used to, in order to get my brand started, I post like it was like for weeks at a time. I'd do like 5 posts a day. Yeah. To really start to build my brand. Yeah. And it was so many posts. Yeah. But even that, my posts now get so many likes that multiple posts will pop up on my feed because people are seeing them, liking them. So there may be one post today, but now there's like, 6 different posts that people are commenting and putting like liking because the rotation. And Sendable helps you manage that engagement too. So going back to the Sendable part of the whole thing, you can actually upload that CSV and it's literally got all of the content, the links to the websites you want to, link out to, the date the thing is going to go out with the time and everything, and the photo attached to it. And so you literally just click, boom. It's got 365 days. That sounds pretty easy. I haven't been opposed to it. Yeah. I haven't heard of Shareable though. Hootsuite, yes, and a couple others. I'm just kind of like, I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to sit there and have to like schedule this out. But, quotes are easy. There's other things that are easy, so. And then if you have other content throughout the day, you still upload it like normal. You, as a person, though, you would just know your schedule. Like, and it doesn't have to be 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. You could change it to whatever. But let's say it's, you make yours go off at 11 and 2 p.m. and you want to post something else that day, just don't do it at 11 or 2 and you're fine. Like give yourself like an hour. Space it out, yeah. You give yourself like an hour gap around whatever the content that you scheduled is. You can post it whenever you want to. Like if you want to post 9 times a day, you can post 9 times a day. Like you have 2 of them taken care of, so you actually only have to post 7 times a day. So there you go. Have fun. Your thumbs might get tired. But... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm curious about Leaders in Transformation, or LIT, L-A-T. So I loved that whenever I was looking at your little like pre-production sheet thing, and I saw LIT, and I was like,
that's lit.
Right. I mean, it fits,
For lack of a
right?
better term.
So,
like, I didn't know what it was, and so I was like, hey, that's lit. So,
right.
What? Tell me about that. What is this?
So, when I moved to California, I wanted...
When was that?
So I moved to California, grew up in Oregon. So long story short, my dad grew up in, Costa Mesa. I was born at Hoag Hospital in Newport. Moved when I was just a few months old. Grew up in Oregon.
Okay.
Moved back down here after I got out of the news industry. It was a year ago May. Yeah, a year ago May.
Nice.
I think. Now it's all gelling together, right?
Yeah.
So I don't remember. Year ago May. Yeah, it was a year ago. So anyways, I working. I'm one of those people that I'll pour into other people before I pour into myself. Like, here. Like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
One day I had a friend call me and he was like, hey, I just took this leadership course. Like, you'd be like you'd love it. He didn't really tell me much about it. And I was like, you know what? I've seen you transform your life and how much of an influencer and how much you've grown since I've known you. And mind you, I met this guy when I was like 16, 17 years old at Red Robin. And we worked at Red Robin for like years together. And then he's now just doing his thing. His name is Roberto Laguna. If you guys want to go follow him on social media, just such a selfless leader. So I'm like, yeah, man, I love what you've done with yourself. I'm down. I didn't even know. I didn't need the info.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you need? He's like, I need at least $100 down payment. I'm like, okay, great. Here's my card. Let's do it. So walking in, I had no idea. Basically, long story short, it's a program without giving it away. It's a program that literally changed my life on so many levels because it gave you a place where people are guiding you, not giving you the answers, but basically allowing you, metaphorically, like it's a mirror held up to yourself to showing you how you actually are showing up in your life. So they're not like saying like, you have this wrong with you, and you have this wrong with you, you have this wrong. It really attacks, like, I don't want to say attacks, it's aggressive, but it shows you, how you're actually showing up in your business or in your line of work, how you're showing up with yourself. Are you actually pouring into yourself or are you taking away, in your relationships and just, relationships, business, your body, like physically, are you exercising, eating right, things like that. So, a lot of those, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm fine. At least I thought I was. And I got into it, and then some deep stuff started coming up that I actually had realized that really a traumatic experience, one in particular, way back when, had been showing up for at least 10 years of my life in just relationships with guys that I've dated.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh my gosh, like floored. Like, whoa. How did you guys do that?
Yeah.
So keep going through it. There's different phases of this leadership program. And the long story short is that hands down, the best investment I've ever made in myself. And actually, once I finished with that program, that's when my entrepreneurship just literally like rocket launched.
Really?
Like just like straight up, because I took the time to pour into myself to, pay for this that I really did not have the money for. And mind you, halfway through this thing, I sold a DSLR camera that I did not want to get rid of. Ended up getting scammed. So $700 camera gone, got not a penny for it.
Oh, wow.
It was my fault, but like it just still crappy. So at the end of the day, it's like I just trusted the process and I went through it, and it was hands down one of the best ever. So it's out here in Orange County. They do it out here. And just the people, the genuine relationships, and just how real you get with yourself is like, woof, and that has really helped me in so many different areas to be able to coach people, mentor people, and then also honestly coach myself out of situations.
Yeah.
Like if I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, I'm having such a bad day, I know exactly how to coach myself out of it. I'm like, dang it, like why can't I just sit here and be upset for 5 seconds before coaching myself out of it? And then I've been able to read people a lot better. So being able to read body language, being able to read, people that I can see what they're struggling with without even having, like, we could have a 5-minute conversation and I can instantly see what they're hiding. I can instantly see what they're, uncomfortable with, what they're comfortable with. Are they a leader? Are they a follower? Like, you can just see so much about people.
Right.
And it just, basically this program really just opens your eyes. So
That's really cool.
Yeah. So why is that important? There's so many leadership things out there. It's important because it's a program where it's not like a huge, like, nothing against Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, and all that, Les Brown, all that stuff. They're great. This is more of like a, I guess, local homegrown sort of. They go through this massive training to become a trainer, but at the end of the day, these are real people being able to relate to you. You're in groups and you're really getting to know people on such a personal level, and they know you, that it's honestly like therapy that you put yourself through. It's you really seeing, again, how you show up in your own life, and then how you're giving back to others. That's a big thing where it's like, pour into other people and it'll have a good ripple effect for you and others. So like one thing that they had us do is like every day text or call or talk to 3 people and, tell them why you appreciate them, why you're grateful for them.
I like that.
And, it's so simple, right? But the biggest thing that I learned there is all people want is to be seen, heard, and appreciated. All of those are free. Yet those are the hardest things for people to do. Yeah. So like seen, like I see you, like I see what you're going through, being able to like empathize and just be there where they're at. I appreciate you and as to why, because people don't get that. And when people feel that, then it's a huge game changer for them. And I know it is for me. So being able to pour that back into other people, the program's called Leaders in Transformation. So basically it's, just nurturing, leaders up. We're just people. Right. You don't have to become this big leader, the next Tony Robbins. It's just putting goodness inside of people and having them heal from whatever's happened in the past and moving forward. Giving that gift to yourself, and what I gave to myself was hands down one of the best things I could have ever done. I see myself taking it again probably in the next like maybe six to 8 months, because I'm in such a different place than when I was then. Right. To see what comes up for me now and how I can work through that and just become a better version of myself. Yeah. It's interactive personal development.
And it's drawing a line in the sand too. Yeah, like I think that like you mentioned that there's all these different options out there. There's all these trainings, all these things that you can find for free, all these videos you can watch. Events you can go to, like there's tons of stuff, to see, like, and to grow yourself and to develop that mentality. But I think that doing something like this, like what you're talking about, like where you have to pay for it and you have to like show up, and it's like this dedication thing where you're literally having to draw a line in the sand and say like, I'm serious about this.
Yeah.
Like,
you gotta put some skin in the game, and exactly. It's like you can get all this free stuff, but that's your results. You're gonna get free shortcut. It's not gonna last. If you want something to actually last, you got to put some skin in the game. It costs money to make money. Or time. Like one of the things too, like one of the big things that we actually teach on this show specifically, like with the podcast and everything, is that you can literally learn any of this stuff for free. Right. Like if you don't have anything at all and you're like, all you have is a cell phone, you can still get there. I mean, it may take you, you can't. Here's the thing, whenever you're doing things for free, you can't base off of a timeline on people that are investing into their own companies and investing in getting more resources and learning and getting education along the way. You can't compare, you shouldn't compare yourself anyways, because everyone has their own specific journey, but you can't even compare like the outline of what you're doing to the outline of what they're doing, because it's fundamentally different. Right. So like whenever you're a person like myself, on paper, I may not make that much money, but that's because I'm constantly reinvesting every penny. Like if I get money, it goes back into all of this, like making this better, getting the studio set up with the lights, upgrading the camera, getting the mount system, getting the microphones. I want to get more cameras for the better experience, get another microphone so that like both people can have their own microphone and everything. Like there's so many things that I'm constantly evolving and adding on and changing and constantly just filtering things back through, whereas some would look at that as a loss because it's not profiting dollars, but it's something that you care about, and you care about the product, and other people are following you because they like your product. Exactly. So eventually it'll get there. Exactly. And that's what matters. It's like,
I think attention is worth a lot more money than any amount of dollars that those people can give me. So like I actually talked about this on one of the podcasts already. I don't remember which one it was, to be honest with you. But basically, if you had 100,000 subscribers, right? Like even where you're at, you have almost 20,000 subscribers on Instagram. Literally, even right there with where you're at, if every single, let's just round up, say you have 20,000 because it's easier for the math. Every single one of them gives you $1 for something, right? Like, because it's a one-time interaction. Like, they meet you, they give you their $1, you give them whatever, and you call it a day. Boom, boom. They wash their hands, you never see them again. then like, okay, so that's $20,000 that you can then use to do whatever, which is great if your goal is to then build something else. So if you're listening to this and that's your goal, this is a great strategy to go off of, is to build a small group, like, build a 20,000 group following, and then immediately ask for that, go for the ask, go for the right hook with that content, and basically cash out on the audience from an early standpoint. Or same 20,000 people that are actually loyal to your content because you engage with them, you respond to their comments, you respond to their messages, you acknowledge their likes, you talk about them in your stories, like whenever they're commenting, you actually say stuff about their comments in the story so they know that like you're actually listening and looking at what it is they're saying. That's a super impactful thing too. Like someone just sending you a DM and you just being like, hey, don't want to share the specifics of the details, but Sarah, it was awesome getting your question. I 100% agree, blah, 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 blah. A, that gives you content. B, it builds connection with your audience. And it's literally just like,
yeah, I love on Instagram story the question feature.
Yeah,
Ask
exactly.
Me a question, or the poll. It's like the interaction. It's genius. These people are genius. I'm like, I do it all the time, like twice a week. What do you want to know? And
exactly. So here's the thing. You can go out and sell something and make that $20,000 from your 20,000 people. Or you can get 20,000 loyal followers that will follow every move that you make because you're being value-driven and authentic. And you can let brands pay you $20,000 every couple of months to get a message to those 20,000 people that is in line with what your message is. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, you can get your money from your audience, or you can leverage your audience to get money from the companies. Yes. You don't have to get it from the user to like that.
You may have to wait through all these, what do you call them? Brand ambassador people first. Yeah. That are like, hey, you can buy our products and then, but it just obviously shows you that it's working.
Yeah, but see, that's the whole point of saying all of that is that you can make a full-time income without charging anything at all for your audience. Like the people that follow you give you $0 and you're still making way more than like a full-time job with like an hourly position, simply because of the fact that brands and marketing and just the whole industry as a whole with influencer marketing and the way that social media platforms are connected, that level of attention is worth something.
Oh yeah.
You just have to leverage it, and you also have to know how to ask. Like, so you have to reach out to those companies and say like, yo, I've got 20,000 people. I like what you're doing. I'd love to work together and figure something out to where we could help each other out. Yep. Absolutely. So what are your big plans right now? Like, what if everything goes right for you over the next year? Like you're out of the news industry. You're out there doing all these varied projects. You're helping people with your clients and stuff. Like you actually had a client on the phone the same night we first talked on the phone. So it's like you're actively putting in the work. You're doing your thing. Like what is the plan for Molly Trotter if everything works out?
Give me a timeline. You want 6 months, a year? Because there's a big difference.
Okay. A year from now,
even
5
like
years
3
from
months?
now, and then 10 years from now. So 1, 5, and 10.
Wow. I thought you were gonna go like 3, 6 in a year. Ooh, no. 1, 5, and 10. So a year from now.
I like to think big picture. I think that's the most important thing for perspective.
Yeah. So in a year from now, we're in October. So, a year from now, I should have brought all this down to refresh on the spot. So a year from now, definitely, what I see happening is a friend of mine and I were going to be creating an app, an app that has it's like a female-driven app for daily affirmations, fitness, nutrition, mental mindset, things like that, having it all condensed in one spot. We're working on the logistics of that.
That's awesome.
I'm going to be revamping my brand, my coaching brand, Take Charge Coaching. It used to be Take Charge Nutrition and Fitness Coaching. We're doing the logo, having an interactive website where people can pay to come into a portal, have different trainings, things like that. But more importantly, That's more of like a landing page for people. Between the year and the 5-year mark, I don't have like a set like in stone when this is gonna kick off. What I want to have is like interactive like seminars, like either weekend long, most likely weekend long, like a couple days, where women can come through and they can get that coaching that they need, kind of what LIT did for me, you know, with their body, their being that they are as a person, their business and relationships. Where are they truly at this point? Where do they need to be to get to where they want to go? You know, because a lot of women feel very suppressed and somebody did this to me and I can't, whatever. I hate the word can't. So like, how can I scratch that out of your vocabulary? So getting that like seminar going, to having that travel around the country somewhere between the year and the 5-year mark. With Forex and crypto trading and that company hitting in a year from now, I'll probably be what's called at least a Chairman 25, which is helping, I believe that's 750 people experience that financial freedom through trading, learning the skill set of trading, doing it from your own phone, just going through this education platform to be able to get what you need and go, you know, at least 750 people. So 5 years from now, max that out. And that will be, once I max that out money-wise, that's $1 million a month that I'll be making residually. And then whatever I make from trading, which is just going to be an endless amount of money. Honestly, it's limitless. When the Forex market, it's a $5.3 trillion a day market a day. So it's reset. So it's limitless. But I'm not money driven, I'm people driven. So that money that I'm going to be making, I really want to pour it back into my business to help these women. I've definitely thought about a nonprofit to create. I don't know what direction I want that to go, but definitely creating something where I can give back, pour in, specifically to women. You know, that's a huge soft spot for me. And then outside of that, I mean, I have even gone to the point of, and it's funny that you say this because I literally have like, I wrote this down like on Saturday. I didn't go out, I didn't go drink, I didn't go get lit like most people my age. I wrote down my goals for the next X amount of years. So probably to align me with this. You know, building a clothing brand. You know, what kind of a clothing brand do I want? I'm not 100% sure yet. Probably something athletic wise, just because nutrition and fitness, that's where it all started for me. Once you pour into your body, that's a big thing. So maybe like some kind of maybe a nutrition line, definitely like a clothing line. And that's it at this point. So 10 years from now, I mean,
it at this point.
I know, it's crazy.
It's like
and it's only, I know, right? People are like, are you kidding? That's why I'm like, whoa, you're asking a lot here.
No, it's
10 years
great.
from
I
now,
love it.
the reason why I'm hustling so hard right now, you guys, for everybody that's listening, is my future family. That's it. You know, at the end of the day, what I want more than anything else is to be a wife and a mother, and to be able to do all of this from home. So if some of this ends up getting kind of put to the side or slowed down a little bit, that's okay in my book. Once I find, or once he finds me, the man of my dreams, whatever, you know, not expecting him coming on a white horse, just, you know, a good man. And then we have kids. That is my priority. But being able to do this all from home, that's why a year from now, like, you know, I know I'll be a millionaire in no time. You know, am I anywhere near to that right now? No, absolutely not. But I'm getting there, and I know I will be there because my mental state's already there. So I consider it's already done. I'm just now checking off the boxes, and it's starting to catch up with me. And it's a mind game. And so you are, like, the vibrations you put out, that's what you're going to attract. You know, like, here I am just doing social media branding that, mind you, my family absolutely hates. My parents are like, why do you do that? Like, my family pretty much has all unfollowed me or follows me in the shadows. Like, they hate what I'm doing. They don't understand it. But at the end of the day, the people that I'm attracting are multiple 6-figure earners, current and ex-pro athletes, lawyers, doctors, musicians, like people that have clout, people that have made it, that if I was one of those, my parents would be like, oh my gosh, we're so proud. You know, and they were proud of me at some point. Not that they aren't now, but I was the golden child being on TV. And when that got cut, it's kind of like, throw your hands up in the air. So anyways, at the end of the day, it's like that right there shows me, like, even though my family is not really like, they support me, but they're not on board with what I do. All these other people, just from me being consistent and pouring in on social media and showing people my brand, like, that's how I know I'm gonna explode. That's how I know I'm gonna make $1 million. And it's not that million like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna buy, this yacht and this private jet and da-da-da. Sure, that's going to be great when we get to that point. How can I reinvest that back into the world?
Absolutely.
How can I put that back into other people and have that ripple effect? Because, like, I don't need all that money. Like, I can buy all this material stuff, but that's not going to do anything for me.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 years, I have had to live well below my means of what I'm used to in order to make it. Have nights where I haven't had food, or it's just a top ramen diet for a minute, or like I've literally sold every possession, including my car, for money, to be able to make it work. And in reality, my legs are getting shredded because I'm riding a bike everywhere. So I'm like, yes, great, burning more calories.
Silver linings. Yeah.
Gosh, always though, exactly, always a silver lining. So to answer your last question, 10 years from now, I will be 38. Wow, almost 39. That's crazy. But by that point, hopefully there's a family in the mix. As to what happens from there, that's where it's a lot of, I don't know, I haven't had kids, and there's just that part of my life. But until then, hustle hard, grind, focus to build as much as you can while you don't have anything. And I don't want to say, like, tying me down, but yeah, I mean, I'm not married, I don't have kids, like, nothing. It's just me. I can be as selfish as I want right now.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's listening, be selfish. It's okay.
Yeah.
How you choose to be selfish, that's another thing.
Right.
But be selfish and take care of you, because you are your first priority.
Right.
You can dump into anybody else that you want. And that's a big thing that I've learned is I can give. But the first time that I said, no, I'm going to pour into me this time, that was LIT.
Yeah.
And because of that, everything else has literally exploded.
And you can only give what you have. So, like, if you're not okay and you're trying to focus on giving and you haven't taken care of yourself yet, you're only going to spread the negativity that's inside of you.
Yeah,
and,
you're going to resent something at some point because you're like, gosh, look, nobody gives in to me, nobody, yada, 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 da, da, da.
Yeah, you have to focus on building that positivity and building yourself up first. And when you're comfortable with yourself, then you can help other people. Like, you definitely can find that along the way. Like, you can definitely find that comfort with yourself through action and through helping other people with their issues and stuff. But I do think that there's something to be said for, you should be in a positive place before you try to help other people be in a positive place. Just because,
Facts.
Ultimately at the end of the day, like we were talking a lot about like getting to that $1 million mark and everything, but like ultimately all that $1 million mark is after all said and done, you take away all the factors, is it's just security. That's it. It's just that just happens to be the arbitrary number in your mind that you've set as the mental security. For me and for a lot of people out there, $100,000 a year would do the same thing for them.
Right.
Because it's like, and not to say anything, because you have all these other businesses you want to start. So you need to, if you're not there, you're not going to be happy because you're not going to be able to do all the businesses that you want to do. So obviously you need to get there because you need to be able to have that to sustain these other dreams and these other goals that you have. For some people, like, you have to realize, like, whenever we talk about how easy it is to build a full-time income around social media, and we talk about how easy it is to brand yourself and how easy it is to really make this a thing, no matter what it is that you do. You can be a contractor whose life goal is to make people feel safe because you update their plumbing and fix their roof or whatever, and like that there's families sleeping well at night, and that lets you go home and have an amazing time with your family and tell stories about you and your construction buddies, and like you're happy and you come home and you're genuinely happy and you're spreading happiness, and the next generation of people feel that love and feel that acceptance to be able to go out and do what it is that they want to do, and you're just continuing that on a generational basis. You've won. Like, that's the goal, is security at the end of the day. I think is a big thing that for a lot of people, like, you put a lot of people put a monetary value on that. And sure, you do need to have your goals as far as like, I need to make this much to know that my bills are covered, to make this much to know that this is covered. But, like, one of the things you talked about is living below your means. Like, we live in the United States of America. Most likely, if you're listening to this, you're either in the U.S. or Canada. If you're in another country, please let me know, because I would love to know if I'm in another country. Like, that would be awesome. That'd be so cool. But more than likely, you're in the United States. And being in the United States alone, it means that you're in the top 1% of the planet. So, like, when you think of the 1%, and like the rich, high, like people that are like so out of reach and like this other world from you. When you zoom out and you look into the perspective of the entire planet, you're in the top 1% just for being an American. Like, that blows my mind, you know, and whenever you don't take that for granted and you really on a day-to-day basis do the most that you can to make the most impact with that and to simply share your story and let other people know how they can have the same happiness that you have, that at the end of the day is the fastest way to success. Mm-hmm. Because the goal at the end of the day is happiness. Happiness usually means that you have to have some sort of security, which is why a monetary value is generally associated to happiness. It's not that the monetary value brings happiness, it's that the monetary value brings security, which makes happiness easier.
Right. You don't have to worry because you have money. Exactly. Although, mo money, mo problems, as they say. I mean, I've talked to people that have made the 100K in a month. Mm-hmm. That have made the million in a month.
Yeah.
That make multi-millions in years, whatever. And, you know, it's just like, okay, you get there and what?
Yeah.
And what's next? Really nothing changes. Like, sure, you can have fancier stuff. You can travel more, have experiences. And I think that's the part right there is being able to take my businesses and travel. And because I can do what I do from anywhere. It's literally all from my smartphone. Yeah. Until I start making that in person with people. But, it's just buying those experiences. But yeah, it's like you can have all that money, but then it's like some of those people that have money, you know, that are multimillionaires, like, you know, I've had people approach me that are multimillionaires that seem on paper and on social media they're happy with their wives and kids, but behind the scenes they're trying to slide into my DMs.
Yeah.
You know, trying to like be like, hey, look at what I got. And I'm just like, boy, please.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious right now? Like no. And unfortunately, I've stopped the buck. Like, the buck stops here, like, not for me. But other women aren't strong enough like that to be able to say no. But they use that money as power. So it's just how you use it. What's your mindset? What's your connection with money? Is it, like, out of desperation or out of giving, out of love, or out of power? Like, it's just... there's so many different ways where, you know, people will even have a bad taste about money because they see, oh, rich people are, you know, they're bad people, you know, or whatever. And it's just like, no, like... You choose, money only magnifies who you are.
Absolutely.
So if you have a lot of money and you're a pig, if you have a lot of money and you're greedy, if you have a lot, whatever, or you're stingy or you're giving and grateful, that's going to shine through. But Absolutely. It's just paper that we just put some value on.
Exactly.
And it really doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. So if we could just burn all of this and then just go back to however long ago that was.
Yeah, you know, honestly, it wasn't that far long ago. I mean... Yes, money has kind of always been there for, like, the past few thousand years, like, going back to, like, Greco-Roman times. Like, they did have, like, currency and coins and stuff that they used. But majority-wise, a lot of things, you didn't use money. It wasn't like that wasn't the main currency interaction that you used to trade with things. You would actually trade your professions and trade the things that you had.
Right.
So, like, if you were a blacksmith, you might, like... trade swords, you know, for like your meat, you know. You might have a deal with the butcher where it's like, okay, cool, well, I'll make you this custom sword for like a year's worth of meat, and like I'm just gonna swing through and pick up my delivery every month or whatever, and like that might be your thing to make them like this really nice weapon or something. Like, and because it's just like it depends on where people put the value, but like ultimately all we have is the value that we give to the world. You know, and it's like, and that can take many, many, many different forms, and it can have different seasons of those forms. You know, one of the things that I love about what you're doing is that you're actually pursuing, and this is obviously from my perspective of looking at your social media and from this conversation, but you seem to pursue the things that you're passionate about, and only the things you're passionate about, which is something that I am very in line with myself. I will not do something that I'm not interested in 100%. I did the social media stuff because I didn't want to have music be a job, because music was how I started this whole online media thing back in 2008 when I launched my YouTube channel, just making music videos and channel stuff with my friends and everything like that. But like starting in music, going into social media, I realized I didn't want to earn my rent money playing on Huntington Beach Pier like I did for the first couple of months, because it sucked. Like, it was hot, had to deal with all the people, like, it made me hate the music. It made this passion, this thing that was like a way to communicate a job. So I dived into the social media and really got serious about that. And I'm just thankful that I was right about how social media works, honestly. Like, it's kind of weird. I was thinking about this the other day, but I was watching a video of me in 8th grade, and somebody behind me is like, "What are you recording that video for? Is that for YouTube or something?" I'm like, "Actually, I record the video and distribute it to MySpace, Facebook, YouTube, and any other social media platform that I think is interesting enough to upload it content natively for, so that everyone can see it no matter what websites they use." This is me in 8th grade. Like, what? It's awesome. I'm like, that's literally the backbone of how I built my social media agency.
That's hilarious.
Is with that logic.
Where is that video? I want that video.
It's in my archive videos right now on my YouTube channel. Search MLK.
That kid asking you?
Yeah, it's me as an 8th grader. It's called Martin Luther King Jr. Parade Day March in my archived videos. It's crazy. And it's like, I talk about it all the time. And like, I used to do my vlogs and stuff. Before Casey Neistat had even launched his channel, I actually used to do not to say like, oh, I did it first, but like, I literally had the sunglasses on, did the vlogs. Like, I didn't make daily vlogs, but I did like talking to the camera vlogs with my sunglasses on inside, which is now a Casey Neistat thing all over YouTube. You know, he kind of dominates that viewpoint. But before he had even launched his channel, I was doing that as a kid. Like, making vlogs, talking to the camera, have my sunglasses on, because I felt awkward, like, with the eye contact, you know. It was like, I didn't know where to look ever with the camera. Luckily, I've gotten past that.
With Graham.
Yeah, but, you know, it's all good. But I wasn't ever sure, like, quite where to look, because I wanted to look at the computer to see how it turned out. But then, like, it just looked like me looking down, you know, because it was a webcam that was looking down at me. So it was just like this whole inception of looking down. I was like, it never turned out well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, you do different distribution platforms. Like, you know, I'm a musician, I'm a videographer, I'm a social media agency person. I guess I'm a consultant kind of for my company and for other people's businesses and like helping them. I put out free tools. I do all of these different things just because they're different facets of who I am. Yes. It's like, to do one of those things would be like, I mentioned this in my first podcast episode, to do one of those things would be like trying to be one single number on a die. Like, that's not possible, because a die is 6 numbers. That's what makes it fundamentally what it is. So it's like, you know, I think that it's important to highlight that aspect of being an entrepreneur, is that like, you don't have to have the one thing that works. There is no one be-all, end-all solution that will work for everyone. It doesn't exist. And I think that is one of the main negative things that is associated with network marketing. I know that, like, for me, particularly, I actually did some network marketing stuff for a little while. And whenever I did that, it didn't last, simply because of the fact, like, I loved their mindset. Love the positivity. I thought it actually does work. Like, mathematically, it works out. Like, the whole system is good. Like, it's a good system. But at the end of the day, whenever there's someone that says, this is my way or the highway, you either do this and you're successful, or you do something else and you're not successful. It's like, there's no such thing as my way or the highway. There is only different avenues of how people get there. Like,
it's not a dictatorship in network marketing. You're your own boss, but you'll still get those people who get the power trip role.
Exactly.
And then, I mean, network marketing gets,
which works. It works. Like, it's in its self-contained system. Like, it does definitely work, because the credibility is always being pushed up to this other person, you know?
Right.
You're never really taking credit for it on your own. But I think that, like, really where my growth started, as far as this whole social media thing goes, was actually the day that I stopped the network marketing stuff, because like, I realized, like, well, you guys are just keep telling me that it's this way is the only way, and I'm like, I don't believe that. I don't think that's true. And I drew a line in the sand, and I really started believing in what I believe as opposed to what other people were telling me. And that was whenever I built my social media. I like talked to my boss, and I was like, I can't show up to work anymore, because like, I just can't. This isn't me. Like, I don't want to be here. So, like, I don't want to leave this interaction. Like, long story cut short, I was basically like, I don't want to leave this interaction and leave this strategy and this social media agency I've built for you guys. Like, I want to keep this relationship to some varying degree, you know, basically so that I can start traveling and doing my thing. Cause like I just can't do it. I can't be here anymore. So, yeah, I'm like curious on your thoughts on that with like the whole network marketing stuff and just the contingencies around that, like other people's perception of that and how like maybe like what you're doing is different, because it sounds like it's quite different like based on the stuff that you've been talking about with me.
And really it's only different because of the people. And really it's, you know, network marketing and the people in it and the company are huge, obviously. Unfortunately, there's bad eggs, there's bad companies.
Yeah. And
not to, you know, pinpoint what's bad and whatever, but what makes it different when I'm in, you know, I get people asking all the time, is this a pyramid scheme? Is this a scam? So then I put the question back on them. What is a pyramid scheme? What is a scam? You know, because you're paying for something and you're actually getting something in return. You know, you're paying for product, an education.
Right.
When it comes to a pyramid scheme, I'm like, you're in the worst pyramid scheme of all. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like,
oh, yeah.
You're in a 9 to 5. And I'm like, the man up top making all the money and you're capped right here.
Yeah.
I'm in an industry where I can literally make limitless money. They paired network marketing and the Forex market together, and literally you got a $120 billion industry and a $5.3 trillion a day industry. That's limitless income right there. And the power's in my hands to give myself a pay raise every single day through trading.
Or to fail equally. Like
there is risk.
Like,
if you don't educate yourself, there is risk. And no risk, no reward.
Yeah.
I mean, I have business partners on a weekly basis make anywhere from $1,000 nights, $8,000 nights, $10,000 nights. I mean, these people have only been in that I work with directly, you know, for like a year or two, and they're making money like that. The only thing that separates them from the other people is that they choose to educate themselves in that market.
Right.
You know, in 1 year, I see people all the time go from just educating themselves. In a year's time, they can make anywhere from a 5 to 6 figure income right from their phone. So you show them the numbers, you show them that this is doable, you can do this, and then you show them this is the kind of person you're going to expect from me. And that's the biggest part. Like when I got into network marketing, I actually started with a nutrition company, and I love it. I just got really fed up with people getting great results, which is what I did not get fed up with.
Right.
I got fed up with, they'd have great results and they're like, well, I can't afford this. And they go back, gain the 30 pounds that they lost, and go back to the same old problem because they're like, I can't afford to be healthy.
Right.
I can't afford to feel great. I can't afford, and I'm like, you cannot not afford that, right? Like I don't, double negative, but I don't get it. So it just got really annoying. It's like, I don't want to push a shake. I don't want to push this and that. I don't want to have to convince people that they need what we have and they're getting great results because they see it, but they rather spend money instead on good nutrition, medical bills, prescription drugs to make them get over whatever illness that they have.
Right.
So it just got really annoying to me. So I got into this. Biggest part what I do now is the business partners I run with. We have people across our company that are wanting to jump their team to come over to ours because the success rate, the quality, the educators that we have on people learning how to trade, things like that. Because at the end of the day, if our company goes away, 10, 15 years from now, just boop, it's gone. That's fine. And residual income's gone, that stinks. But guess what? The main bread and butter of this is learning how to trade in the biggest financial market in the world.
Right.
So that can happen from anywhere as long as you have cell phone signal or Wi-Fi. So why wouldn't you? And when I'm very transparent with them, saying like, yeah, you can win money. Yeah, you can lose money. I'm not going to hold your hand. I will show you how to get this done. If you trust me, we'll run. I'll show you how to market yourself. I give them the roadmap. And I'm like, look at what I've done.
Right.
If it's on social media for you to watch. Like, you can either keep watching me make money, you know, or you can do this with me. I mean, it's a yes or yes. Like, you know, you're going to sit there and watch. Okay, yeah. Or you're going to make, like, I don't get it, because either you take what we have from this conversation, you take that leap, or you go back to where you were miserable, broke, living paycheck to paycheck, wishing you could be anywhere else during the week, whatever job that you're at. Right. And I've been there, you know, like, so I know what it's like, and I got out of corporate and I'll never go back. Yeah. I will never go back. It's like, I can't do it. And I hate saying can't, but I'm not going to say it, I guess. Back up, rewind. I will not do it. I will not go back. So the biggest thing with network marketing is find people that you connect with, that you vibe with. Find a company that you can stand behind and that you believe in. You know, if you want to let other people's opinions, you know, be your paycheck, great. If you don't want to do it and not get paid, fine by me. I'll go find people that want to do it. And people are actually now coming to me because they see what's happening. And why? Because I'm using social media as a tool to show them. You know,
and
I'm not
was
sitting
another
there...
big thing too, is they were definitely very like cloak and mirror, like don't post anything on social media, don't look anything up online, like it was very like...
See, that's sketch. I'm sorry, there's no other way to put that. It's like, why
you
wouldn't...
should be transparent. Like,
yeah.
You know, if you're helping someone, like, why would you not publish that?
Exactly. And I get people all the time,
understand.
do I have to share this? Do I have to do it? I'm like, no, but you can get the education for free if you want by just sharing it with a few people. But at the end of the day, you could do this all by yourself, not share it with the soul. And they just don't want their butt on the line that, okay, what if this doesn't work? Well, if you tell yourself it's not going to work, it's not going to work. So get in there with the right mindset. This is going to work, because I have students in my organization that are 21, 25, 27 years old, making anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 nights on a regular basis every week.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to guarantee that something won't work is by not doing it.
Exactly.
That's 100% sure. Yeah, you will 100% fail because you took no action. That's the one way that you can guarantee anything.
And I think
that's the only thing you can guarantee.
Exactly, and I think that's the biggest thing of why I love network marketing so much, because at the end of the day with network marketing, no matter what company you're with, there's a residual income factor. We have residual bills. Why not have a residual income? That's just facts. So if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You're leaving money on the table, but it's there and it's a beautiful industry. And there's plenty of multi-million, even billionaires that have done network marketing. Some even multiple companies, because they know it works. You know, the difference between them and you is they decide to pour in themselves, believe in themselves, ask the people who've done it before them, and make it happen. If you want to sit there and say it doesn't work, it's not going to work for you.
Right. It's something that I actually do like about network marketing, I think that is really impactful, is I think it provides a platform for, and another reason why I say that worked, you know, like that whole system of them saying this is my way or the highway, this is the only thing that you can do, is I think it actually provides a framework, like a path that people can follow that will probably work. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this thing where, like what we were just talking about, like if you stay consistent with it and you're being positive and you're putting your value into it, you will get something out of it, you know? Like, you will, as long as you don't stop and you don't give up, like...
Something's bound to happen.
You know, like honestly, this is bad. Like, obviously I'm not saying this about yours, but like even the stuff that I've heard of and been involved in, like, you know, like all throughout the past couple of years of like doing research and everything, like, even if what you're selling or what you're pitching out is like a scam to some people, like, and it actually, even if it is, you know, like you can still get those results because like other people have done it, you know what I mean? So it's like, what I think happens with network marketing, and one of the things that I think is actually super powerful about it, is it's similar to the gig economy, where you're your own boss, you're doing your own thing, or even being an entrepreneur and just going out there and starting your own company, starting from scratch and doing your own thing, which is awesome, you know, great, whatever, either way. But I think it provides this framework for the kind of person which is not necessarily a creator, but like is a creative. Do you know what I mean when I say the difference between that? So like there's a creator like me who, like, I literally can't sleep at night because I'll be up all night long and my brain won't just shut up. And like I literally have to just lay there until I'm so exhausted that I just pass out and like finally fall asleep. And then I dream about whatever it was I was thinking about, wake up and write down whatever I just had a dream of. Like it's like this never ending 24-hour cycle of constantly thinking of ideas and constantly improving on the ideas I've already had. And like, that's just how my brain works. Like I can't get away from it. I'm always making something, you know, something to some extent. But then there's others that find more of the math side of the world. Like they see the numbers, they see the algorithms, they see where things are connected, they get the personal connection. Like there's different facets to the world, right? I think that network marketing actually allows people that may not be so much of the from scratch creator mentality to have access to the same things that class group of people gets. So like your Steve Jobs creates the next Apple, 90% of people are not going to create the next Apple. Like, sorry to say it, but like that's just like it's not going to happen. Like Apple was a 1 in a million company, and like you're probably not going to create the next company that throws them out of business. But if you have like an established system which a job is an established system, but as you talked about earlier, it's a flipped pyramid. Like, you can't get anywhere. You, like, once you hit your level and you get top level of management, even if you're the COO, there's still an owner that's making more than you will ever make, and you can't get past that.
Right.
You'll never grow past that. So I think that it allows the infrastructure of a job, of that security of like having a thing to do and a way to do it and a person to look at as an example, but in a different environment so that they can make more from it and they can expand on that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I look at network marketing, it's personal development with a compensation plan. Like, you are going to get told no. Just keep counting them because they're going to keep coming.
Yeah.
You know, people that are closest to you are going to talk bad about you, say, how could you do this, da-da-da. You're going to make more money with strangers than you will with the people you know.
Yeah.
So there's just so many different facets there. But, all in all, it's a powerful industry where it can really develop somebody who maybe you didn't think they were a leader to really rise up and, challenge themselves. Or just give people another stream of income. I mean, like, multiple streams of income is just really powerful.
Absolutely.
Obviously with the list that I have, there's a bunch of money coming in a bunch of different spots, you know? And that's nice because, people are like, well, there's no security there. And I'm like,
actually,
really?
what happens if one of them dries up? You got all these other ones. Like,
exactly. But like, if you're just in a 9 to 5 and that's it, that your boss could walk in being like, whoop, you're fired. And then you have nothing, like that secure, 80K, 70K, 40K, whatever's rolling in. You just get cut because they find somebody better. They want to cut for whatever reason. People have been fired for, really nothing at all.
Yeah.
I've been fired before, and it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, it just boggles my mind because it's just thinking small-minded. So, obviously, network marketing's out there for a reason. Not every company is a bad company.
Yeah.
You just have to find what's best for you and vibe with it. Maybe what I do isn't what you want, and maybe you don't vibe with it, and that's fine. It's not for everybody.
But the infrastructure is still there.
Yes, and there's so many options out there for you to go check out. Say if you want to do hair, makeup, nutrition, appliances, kitchenware, I don't know, everything. Everything can be network marketing. Like, the company that I'm with is the only one that has paired network marketing with learning a skill set how to trade. So that, it just goes to show you can literally pair that with anything, and it gives people their chance to be their own boss.
Right.
If you want somebody to tell you what to do all the time, great. If you don't, like, you have an option out. Yeah. But it's just nice to hear, like, and to give people the other side of the coin. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, you're just a network marketer and an MLM schemer and da-da-da. I'm just like, all right, man. Like, I tell people at the end of the day, I have done so many stories on, people scamming people, and it's like, is it really worth the $2,000 to have your credibility shattered? Like, you guys, like, really? Like, get over whatever it is that you got to get over, because this conversation is actually really silly. Yeah. So I want to help them, and I just kind of bless them next. If I can't get through to them, if they don't want to, have a cordial adult conversation, I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, I gotta go. Yeah. My time is valuable, as yours should be too. This isn't benefiting anybody. Absolutely. So, it's just, I used to be one of those with network marketing though, like, oh, it's a scam, like, da-da-da. Because I didn't know what I didn't know. And then I looked into it, and I'm like, such a duh thing. You're buying these things anyways. You're going to be spending money at some store that is going to pocket everything and not give you a dime for sharing it. Like, it's a no-brainer. So when you get past that and you're just redirecting a buying habit, or, so anyways, I could go on and on. But
no, I 100% agree. It's just a different avenue and a different infrastructure of doing things. It's like, definitely makes a lot of sense. I think that a lot of people get probably hurdled by the whole, like, they actually have to do something to scale it.
I can't just make money off not doing anything?
Yeah, well, they assume that it's like, the benefit is, like, let's say you spend $1,000 one place, and instead of spending it at one place, you spend it on your store, so you keep $250 of that or whatever, just for sake of argument, right? Like, some people look at that and they're like, okay, awesome, that's great. I made an extra $250 for spending the same amount. And they do that for a couple months. And then they expand their budget to where now they're spending that $250 because now it's part of their budget. And that's what I mean when I say mo money, mo problems, is that People aren't saving $250 and then saving $250 so that 4 months from now they have $500 in the bank account. 4 months from now, instead of their budget being $1,000, it's now $1,250 because that $250 that they're saving, they're now spending.
Right.
So like whenever you are living your life like that, literally the only way that you can make money is by scaling out and by getting people or by signing people up. Like the base product isn't working for you because you're not doing it right.
Right.
And then when you scale out, it's in desperation. It's like this numbers game where you're not it's just like social media. Mm-hmm. People look at subscribers and it's like, oh, well, look how many subscribers I have. It's like, okay, well, are they engaging? Are they commenting? Like, do you understand that those are real people? Like, those are actual human beings that looked at your page and were like, that's cool. I want to engage in that. And like, obviously there are robots and like there's automated stuff that's super easy to tell, whatever, that's super simple, but like, and it's getting a lot better too. There's not a lot of that stuff out there anymore. Like, especially since February, whenever Facebook and Instagram changed their API and like the whole algorithm on how their websites work, like, no, most of the fake stuff is gone. It's incredibly hard to even create an Instagram account for a company, let alone like some fake engagement bot account, because they're super on it at this point. Like it's super protected. So I wanted to talk on one other thing before you head out for the night. So you mentioned on the phone that you had like some interesting what's the word? Traversial things in your past. Some things that like some roadblocks. You were saying kind of being mentally beat up and rising above that and building a career out of like basically out of the shambles of something. You kind of were like, obviously the whole point was kind of allude to it so that we could have this conversation.
Yeah.
So like
keep you waiting.
Yeah. So like I'm really curious like about a little bit more about your story. Like we talked about more where you're at and we kind of touched on you kind of moving here from Oregon and doing that, but I'm really curious where you're from, like where you started from to get to this like really confident, really out there, really like knows what you're doing kind of a person. Because most people out there have no clue where they're at. They have no clue where to start. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious like where this whole journey began, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I guess where I can pin it back to is I've always been like an outgoing person. Mm-hmm. That's always been me. That, I've been an athlete, collegiate athlete, played volleyball, just always interacted with people. So I don't know, like my freshman year in high school, like I knew I wanted to be on the news, more like spotlight, want to be able to tell people stories. Like, I love the spotlight. I love being, like recognized like that fires me up. Mm-hmm. It just does, whatever. Call whatever you want. So, when I got into the news, I knew trying to fast forward here, 2 years in, I was like, okay, this isn't for me. This isn't long term. Why? Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, it's toxic. The pay is horrible. The hours are horrible. Like, I'm going to have to give up so much for what? Yeah. I don't know. This doesn't align. But I was like, okay, I don't really know where I want to go from here. So almost 5 years in, the last station I was at in Spokane, Washington. So my first station was in Southern Oregon, a place called Medford, Oregon, then moved to Spokane, and then it's like you keep growing in markets, right? Mm-hmm. So I was in Spokane and got promoted there. They had me be a weather girl, so I got like a $10,000 raise, but my annual like income was only still like $33K. It was garbage. Like the money you make, like people really don't understand. It's horrible. It's absolutely terrible. And then
and it's like that feels completely unrewarding to hear that, like you're going out there and you're doing something that's against your morals, like against like, like you have to tell this story for this agenda, for this show, for this network.
And it's like, I don't really, I have to pretend to care, and then sometimes
they'd
even
be compensated for it.
And then sometimes they'd even be like, no, we don't want it written that way. We want you to write it this way. And I'm like, that's not how it is. And they're like, well, this is what we want. I'm like, that's too bad because that's my name on the story. And I would walk out. And I was like, this is
more
ridiculous.
Power to you. That's what I would do too.
It's like are you lie. And it just was so dictated by so many wrong agendas and people that basically just wanted to bend over for corporate. And I'm just like, that's you, that's not me.
Yeah.
So fast forwarding here, as I was at my last station, I was building my, business on the side, my nutrition and fitness business. It was named something else back then. Created it with a now ex-boyfriend, and we split our ways. But point being, we were building it back then, and I'd be putting stuff out about, the nutrition line that I use and fitness, this and that. And, one day I posted a transformation photo before and after of myself of like, and I was pretty shredded. And it was, when I posted that, it basically lit the news world on fire to where people were calling in from stations around the country being like, does that girl work with you? How could they do that? They put me up on news blogs, talking trash. What is corporate going to do? Are they going to fire her? This and that. So long story short, I basically ended up getting fired for that transformation photo that I put on the website, on my own personal social media. Why they fired me is because, I was in like sports bra and shorts, and I was like pushing up my chest so you could see my upper abs, and they're like, it was sexual, you were grabbing your boobs, like da-da-da. And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? And I was like, this was on my own social media, and I reminded them about that during this meeting at least 6 times. And I was like, wait, excuse me, my social media, I'm getting fired for this? And basically they're like, well, viewers don't know the difference. They don't know if it's your personal, if it's not. And I'm like, wait, excuse me, the few viewers that we have that quote unquote pay our bills, which they don't because it's advertising, this is what we're worried about? And they're like, yeah, we would respect that, you take down the picture or you're going to get fired, da-da-da. What really actually got me fired is I had responding to a guy who sent me a really nasty email, and I said, and he's like, it's something about my, like what I did as a, for my job. And I said, if you don't like it, you can turn the station. Like, you don't have to watch. And that broke the camel's back instantly, because basically I was already treading a thin line.
Right.
And, just trying to fast forward through here, basically they're like, they call me into their office, and they're like, at this point you're terminated, pack up your stuff, you can leave. And they literally had somebody follow me around the station, pick up my stuff, and follow me out and drop off all my stuff. It's like, literally, but before they actually fired me, it's like I murdered somebody. Because in that newsroom, I was definitely the black sheep. Like, nobody talked to me, and I'm like, guys, are you kidding me right now? It was a transformation photo. Like, you guys are y'all got problems, So when I got fired from there, that was like, finally, and it was the best decision my ex-boss could have made at the time. Shortly after that, what also just hit home was the guy I was dating at the time. Basically, at this point, we're in the process of him, he asked my parents for permission to marry me, had a ring, then found out that he cheated. The girl that he cheated on me with hit me up on Instagram, and then she was like, I basically called her the side chick of the year. Ooh. So job was gone.
At least she told you. I mean, you could be married and have no clue that happened.
Horrible, right? So that could happen then, or that happened with my job, then that happened with him, and then I was like so ground zero at that point, like in negative points here, that I was like, I have nothing left to do but to go up, right? Yeah. So I said, okay, I sold everything that wouldn't fit in my car, packed up my car within weeks, moved down to Southern California, lived with my best friend and her fiance at the time, then ended up living with family for a little bit, but basically sold everything that I couldn't fit in my car for the dream. Literally moved down to California with like $2,000 to $3,000 in my bank account. That goes very quick down here.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I was living so below my means, it was unreal. But I was like, if I don't do this now, it will never happen. So I did it, and it was hard. I've had negative bank accounts more time than I can count. Times I've been hungry, times I can't eat, I can't do this and that, da-da-da. And mind you, during this whole time, I had very important people, which I'm not going to say names or who, but very important people in my life that basically turned their back on me during this entire time. They're like, how could you do this to us? How could you post that picture? How could you? And I'm just like, wait, excuse me? Like, I just got fired for this. I just had the man that I thought I loved, that I was going to, marry, like, do this to me. And you guys are saying, how could I do this to you?
Right.
Like, and basically saying, you're the golden child. But now, like, it's just very disappointing and very disheartening. And I'm just like, okay, ignore, shove you in the corner. I gotta do what I need to do. I need to focus. I don't need this right now. So that's what I mean, coming from the rebel. And then coming out here in the last year or whatever, I've been angry, I've cried, I've had so many emotions, more than I could tell you, but I've also had so much more growth, right? Because I could have gotten another news job somewhere else.
Right.
I was like, but no, I'm too good for that.
Yeah.
So now I'm building my own brand, getting my following, and doing exactly what I want to do. And, you know, just
More power to you, though.
yeah,
You
corporate
gotta do
just
it.
it has no place for me ever again, because it's just, I don't blame them. They got to do what they got to do. But like how they handled it was so crazy and ridiculous that I know at some point, probably adding on maybe to like the 5-10 year mark that we talked about earlier, you know, writing a book. Writing a book as to what it is that I went through, where it is that I am now, because my story is so still developing that it's gonna be amazing at the end, or like, you know, further down the road, a couple years from now, because I've chosen to push through. Because I could have just been like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't. I just can't do it anymore. But I said, no, you got to. Why? Because I knew I made my move, my everything very transparent on social media the entire time. And there's people that have been following me since day one. And I know a lot of these people have just been waiting for me to go fall flat on my face.
I 100%
They've been waiting.
feel that.
And I'm just like, and that motivates me. I'm like, okay, keep watching.
Yeah.
Keep watching. And so
as things continue to like exponentially grow, it's just like every time some big thing happens, it's just like, whoa, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I bet this person hates it.
Right. No, when I have so many, I don't want to say I have so many haters, but at the same time I do. And that's when you know you're doing it right. And unfortunately, some of those people that hate are the people closest to me, because they see me growing and moving and they're still stagnant.
Right.
They don't understand the way that I work and I operate. Yeah, like maybe at this point, you know, figuratively speaking, I have $200 to my name, but I'm like, Mom, Dad, like watch a year from now, I'm going to be making multiple six figures. And they're just like, how in the hell are you going to do that?
Yeah.
But they are so stuck in their ways that they don't get it. Their brains don't go that route. So
Right.
I was blessed with the vision and the drive and the energy that I do have, and I know that's taking me places. And now it's starting to bear fruit because I'm attracting all these, you know, quote unquote big hitters, as you'll call them in the network marketing industry. And they could go with anybody, but they're like, I want to go with you.
Right.
Why? Because I know there's something here. So it's definitely been a journey. It's been crazy, but at the end of the day, I still have to stop myself and take time to look back and be like, wow.
Yeah.
That's where I came from.
Yeah.
Like, seriously?
That's
like
super creepy too, because we kind of have very similar like coming out here stories. So I packed up everything when I was 19 years old, and I was going to go to college, had a full ride to go to the University of Arkansas. Decided that was not where I wanted to go, because I just, basically I told myself at the time, I still firmly believe this now, I ended up being right about it, but at the time, obviously, I didn't know this, it was just a theory. But I looked at the industry and I was thinking, I could spend 4 years trying to learn this stuff and have all the stuff that they teach me be outdated in 4 years. Because at the time they were teaching Google and SEO and that kind of stuff, which, like I said, I started my social media agency out of scratch. Like, they were doing websites and Google SEO, and that's it. That's what the whole industry was doing. There wasn't a single agency that was doing social media. And I created this scalable small business social media solution. At 19 years old, I pack up everything I had into my car. I had a Nissan Altima, drove out here to California. The plan was to live with my family, but basically my dad left and never came back, and like just kept telling me he was going to come back, and didn't end up happening. So essentially just got abandoned out here and like left out in California. But I figured it out. Like, I played music on the pier, got my money for rent first a couple of months. I was renting a room. Then I finally got a job where I would go to 99-cent stores and ask people if they were poor enough to get a free government cell phone. That was really creepy. You have to go to like Compton and granted, I've never been to California before, so like I don't know that these are sketchy places. And they're like, all right, you got to go to what was it called? Inglewood. Got to go to Inglewood, 99-cent store. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Just thinking it's a job, you know. I show up and it's like in the hood, like freaky in the hood kind of thing. And I'm like looking around like, oh crap, like what's gonna happen kind of a thing the whole time. Until I finally got a sales job selling the Google SEO that I eventually was like, okay, I'm in a long distance relationship. I have to talk on the phone to keep my relationship alive at this point, because Marielita was in college and finishing up that last year before moving out here. And I was like, I can either not want to talk to the person that I love because I'm spending 8 hours a day on the phone, or I can figure something else out. And so basically that's when I switched over to websites. And from doing websites, I had someone telling me how to do my job that I had been doing since 13, because I had been building websites since 13. And I was like, bro, I'm doing this better than you. Why are you telling me what to do right now? And literally like created a whole full through system. So like they used to have one person do content, one person do the graphics, one person link it up and all that stuff. And I came in, I was doing like 8 a day, like all the way through. And I was like, this is someone's full-time job. Just doing like, look, you can just do this way, you know, and just like constantly providing value to the company and showing them efficiencies and ways that they were doing things that were like losing them a lot of money, just to have people just sit there and do nothing.
Right.
But yeah, no, basically same story with the whole like packing up the car and coming out here with nothing kind of a
California,
thing. You know? It's like
there's a lot of people I know that just pack up and come out here for the dream, because the hustle and grind out here is so different. Mm-hmm. The weather's great. Obviously, that's what we're paying for.
Yeah.
But
well, the networking is also a huge thing. Like being able to use Bumble to connect with you and you be like a 5 to 10 minute drive away.
What are the odds?
Like that. I mean, if I lived in Oklahoma or Arkansas or like something like that, we'd have to schedule this like months in advance, and I'd have to like travel with all this gear and like try to find a place
or do like
near
a Zoom
you,
call, which is like different. But
yeah, and that like changes the whole concept of the show. Like to not have someone sitting there on the couch changes the entire mentality of the show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I thought about doing that, the Zoom call thing, but ultimately I landed on the fact that like unless it's a person like Gary Vaynerchuk or something like that,
right,
that's like I'm not gonna get them otherwise. Which obviously I'm going to take advantage of that, like
absolutely,
whatever. But like even with Gary Vaynerchuk, if he was willing to give me 30 minutes, I would turn down a Zoom call to say, give me an extra week and I'll go sell some shit, make $300 and I'll fly to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like even that, like if I had an opportunity, I wouldn't just do some video call. Like I'd be like, yo, I'll make it happen. Like, let's go. Like, I'll go get some free stuff on Craigslist. I'll sell it right now. Let's do this.
Yeah,
like,
I've been there. I've done that
life.
too.
Yeah, get that flip life. Mm-hmm. So I think it's about time to wrap up. But before we go, where can people find you? What do you want people to see? Like, what are the best places that people can learn more about Molly Trotter?
Yeah, absolutely. So probably Facebook and Instagram. You can just find me, Molly Trotter. Instagram, it's Molly_Trotter. Same thing. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, I mean, that's the best place. That's what I pour into the most at this point in time. Mm-hmm. Definitely following my story, because I'm very active on my stories. Instagram story mostly. But you'll be able to find more about me on there. I'm always dropping something about what it is that I'm doing. There's not a dull moment. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
You can find everything from like business, how to make money, be a better leader, to me doing carpool karaoke by myself.
That's awesome.
Me just talking about some random whatever, me riding my bike to the gym in the morning. I don't know. Workouts, like you'll get a random like, mix of things. Mm-hmm. So, but that's just my life. If you want to come check it out, see what I do. And if I can provide value somehow to you, great. Scroll through and, shoot me a message. And if you guys when you're listening to this and you follow me and you shoot me a message and let me know that you are listening to this from this podcast, that'd be great. So we could just, have that interaction, love to give you guys shout outs and just provide that value to you as well.
Awesome. So, just for the camera, one piece of advice, if someone's watching this, what's one thing you would tell them? Like, no matter who you are, what you're doing, like, best ultimate overall for you advice. Go ahead.
I would say one thing, I think the biggest thing that has ever impacted me when you really think about it is that, are you talking about for me personally to give to them or the school will never leave me. And it took me a while to think about what it actually means, but I fight for people's possibilities while they fight for their limitations. Mm-hmm. I fight for people's possibilities while they fight for their limitations. And when you think about what that truly means is people are always fighting against you because they don't want to change, right?
Right.
They don't want to. They just they fear change. Well, I can see beyond that, that wall that you just put up. So I'm going to keep fighting for you while you're fighting against me, because maybe I'm the only person who's ever fought for you ever in your life.
Right.
And you're going to remember that.
That's awesome.
So that's the biggest thing that I can leave.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode.
Yes.
And as always, we will be back here next week. So be sure to do all the stuff and we'll see you there. Bye.
If you liked this episode of the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and follow on whatever your listening application of choice may be. That way, you can get notifications every Wednesday when we upload a brand new episode. If you're listening to this via audio podcast format, you can watch the video for this episode on YouTube, DTube, or pretty much any other platform where video can be natively distributed. Please be sure to like, comment, and share to get the conversation rolling and build out this community of like-minded professionals so we can learn from each other and share our stories. Links to all the products I use to make this content are down in the description below, as well as all the links for our fantastic guest and what we talked about in this episode. If you would like to further show your support for the channel, you can find out how you can be a direct supporter on Patreon or Anchor in the description below. Or you can make your way over to shopmichaelbisbell.com and get yourself some awesome new merch from our collection of designs or one of the digital tools to help accelerate your own brand forward. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of The Wednesday Wanderer. I look forward to seeing you back here next week.